There is a tradition to commemorate 40 days from the day of death. There are certain rituals which are used on this day, for example, veiling mirrors. Could you clarify what they are used for? Are they artificial or not? These rituals aren't artificial. It is a resonance of true knowledge. Now people don't fully understand what they are doing. Everything is turned into mechanically performed actions. 40 days, 5 days, 3 days, some people say that these rituals aren't necessary. However, mechanically these rituals were performed. Ancient people knew how the rituals worked. They performed such rituals because the departed, or his soul, was going through the limbo for 40 days. Transformation and excarnation on the astral plane last 40 days. Excarnation on the mental plane takes 52 days, and so on. Then, in half a year, after the excarnation was completed, people performed a corresponding ritual. So, all these phenomena exist, the rituals work, but nowadays people don't know anything about it. The ritual of covering mirrors is necessary, because attachments of a soul can be so high that it can get stuck between two worlds. A mirror is a sort of portal, entrance. Mirrors are covered so that a soul won't try to return. People often see the departed in a mirror. The departed is already on the subtle plane of existence, but has been lost between the two worlds. A funeral service should be performed over him so that his soul could ascend. You will need a lot of psychic energy or spiritual power to help the soul of a departed person to ascend. One of our subscribers asks how she can help her loved ones who are nearing the moment of transition. How can she help them to pass away if they have an ordinary state of consciousness and have never followed any spiritual practice? Ordinary people tend to live as if they are immortal, as if death will never come to them. Very few people think about death. I often see how people behave when they hear about someone's death. Their reaction is like this: thank goodness it is happening somewhere far from us. At this moment, a person thinks that it will never happen to him. But it suddenly starts happening to his loved ones. Death comes nearer to him. It happens to all people. Finally, death will catch up with everyone, however long they live. 100 years or a few thousand years, death will come to them anyway. So a person should prepare oneself for it. Usually people follow the principle, it will happen someday, but now I don't want to think about it. Your mind, ego, doesn't want to think about death and diverts its attention from death to something positive. People say, let the matter drop, we are doing fine. But this is a delusion, a deceit. You should work with it right now. If you didn't work with it yourself, you won't be able to help your loved ones. You should first help yourself before you'll be able to help your close ones. It is very sad, but true. So as they say, sickness prevention is better than treatment. If you want to help your loved ones, you should prepare for it. To get experience and find out what death is like, what is happening with a person. Don't weep or tear your hair out. Don't faint. It will aggravate the situation for a person who is at the point of death and is ready for the transition. Clergymen say it's all in God's hands. Yes, it is so. But how can it help a person who is passing away? How can it help you? You are stressed, you are suffering, because your strong attachments are breaking off. And you start realizing that your loved one is going away forever. Nothing can help, because people don't know what death is, what the whole process means. People don't even have enough concentration to say a prayer. Then a group of people gets together. Though nobody in the group has enough concentration, the group has more power than one person. We can invite a clergyman and ask him to perform a funeral service. He starts reading the scriptures, waving a thurible around, and we hope that this person will do everything for us. In fact, very few clergymen can do something. No one can reverse a process which captures a person or a former person completely. This law is from above. Only yogis can put it off. When you are in samadhi, death doesn't exist. I can recommend this woman to do what she knows, what her church and egregore demand, to perform ceremonies and rituals sincerely. She should put her trust in the process. That will be enough. This is her personal karma, karma of her loved ones, her family and country, mass karma of a big number of people. But if you want to escape all these karmic processes, you should develop yourself to be able to stop them. Yogis who follow pranayamas can stop a breakdown and create something new. People think that pranayama is breathing. That is not right. Breathing is an element of pranayama. But pranayama as a whole is a control of energy which is flowing away for some reason. How did Sathya Sai raise people from the dead? One of my spiritual colleagues, whom I've known for more than 20 years, was raised from the dead by Sai Baba. Sai Baba brought him back to life on the 7th day of his death, and did it in plain view of the young man's mother and relatives. This man is still alive. What power made a soul return? According to the law, a god of death, named differently in different religions, Yama, Raj, Azrael, etc., came to take a soul away. A body has already been decaying. Subtle bodies have been passing away. Processes which sustain cellular level have already ceased. Degeneration is taking place, and all the 5 types of energy are being reduced and dispersed. The whole process is very complex. What made it reactivate itself? Only the will of an avatar, his will and order. Sai Baba brought this man back to life. There are a lot of such events. Similarly, Jesus Christ raised Lazarus from the dead on the 5th day. It is a process of energy control which is connected with a high degree of compassion. An avatar communicates with a soul, asking it to return into the body. A very important point is that cosmic consciousness orders this soul to return. So I can't and mustn't give advice on that subject. The only thing I can recommend to someone who feels compassion for a dying person is to go into spiritual practice and to choose a prayer. Just sit by a dying person and pray. My advice is practice self-development. Prepare yourself for such events and rely on the Supreme. This is as it should be. There are 2 different types of people's behavior after the death of a close one, sorrow and joy. Which one can be considered to be more proper? Everything depends on the person's level of consciousness. Besides, it depends on the consciousness of people who are in the room where the body is lying. The process of dying takes time. A person dies during 7 days. And even on the 7th day, it is possible to return the soul into the body. So the whole process takes 7 days. After the 7 days have passed, the whole decorporation of a soul takes place, and a person departs to the other side. The transition has completed. Subtle energies require 40 or 52 days. The soul, Atma itself, decorporates gradually and in 7 days this cycle closes. So everything depends on people's consciousness. I can't say now that people should be joyful because they have a powerful attachment. They are in mourning, and the level of their consciousness doesn't let them rejoice. If a child is being taught to love death and rejoice when it comes, then later this person won't know what mourning is and what tears are. By all means, he will be joyful, but if suffering appears, it can't be ceased overnight. In general, we should be accepting of death, neither be joyous nor grieve about the dead. I'll explain why I say so. When my close ones were passing away, I sympathized with them and helped them to depart, doing everything I could. But it was sad to see their departure. Why? Not because I was afraid of death or because I had an attachment. I was sad because I understood that my loved ones got through their lives in the way they didn't want to. That was very sad. But on the other hand, they'll have a chance to work over all their desires and misunderstanding in their next incarnation. People always have such an opportunity. We must be sad about such events, but nobody must shout or make a noise. In different countries, people of different confessions react to death differently. Some people tough it out because they understand the problem of life and death. Such a person thinks about the eternal and trusts God, so he is calm. His close one, sitting next to him, can weep. Another one can be joyful within. The latter can't be openly joyful because it is not accepted either. A person has passed away, so we should sorrow and mourn for the dead. Actually, nobody should mourn. The only sorrow is not a sorrow in a strict sense. It is just a regret that the dead got through his life but failed such a redemption. He will have to do it in his next life. It's better to stay calm, balanced, and accepting. Being in this state, you'll really be able to help the dead, because his soul can feel, though it isn't aware of things. The dead person failed to get an awareness, failed to realize his higher self during his life. So now, staying at his level of consciousness, he is in turmoil and in fear. If all the people around him cry, make noise, and send negative vibrations, his soul won't be able to ascend high. But if all the people are calm, they can create a powerful flow of energy in the form of a mantra or a prayer. They can accumulate all this power and send it to the soul. Then the soul will be able to rise high. This is a good support. This is as it should be. So, to help the soul of the dead at a funeral, people should act being in a state of high awareness, shouldn't they? That would be right. But usually, people are highly aware of things they are attached to, and are absolutely not aware of things that bring on redemption. We are great on technologies. We are experts in all worldly things. For example, in recipes. But we absolutely don't know what we are made of. What recipe did the great chef use to create us? And who is that great chef? If we are in our usual state, we don't know anything about it. Therefore, people should pause to think what they are living for, and who will eat them later. Such an eater does exist. Can you affirm that spiritual practice and inclination for the Supreme are the only things that can help a person to pass away properly, being in a state of awareness? That's right. But spiritual practice shouldn't be a machine-like performance of techniques and rituals. Spiritual practice is accepting God as life, and accepting life as God. Spiritual practice includes devotion to the Supreme, to your Satguru, the Guru of truth. Spiritual practice is learning to accept your life in all its aspects. Learning to accept all things that change you towards goodness. If you dislike lots of things, it can't be called spiritual practice. That will only make your life very hard. If you don't want to disappear, lose yourself and everything that is connected with your individuality. If you want to reach Jaivan Mukti, a state of redemption reached in one's own lifetime, Mukti or moksha, redemption as it is, you should understand what is really necessary in this life and choose the right direction. Seeking redemption doesn't mean leaving the world. Such direction is a sectarian one. You should understand that the Creator with His followers must be here, on earth, here and now, to turn the earth into heaven. To do that, we should change our attitude, change ourselves, so that the Creator can express Himself through us. We have a great instrument connected with the Creator directly. So He must express Himself through us. It's we who are conductors of these divine energies. Then we won't die. Master Jesus said we won't die, but we'll change. What does this change mean? You will have a different body as you'll transfer to the other form of existence and to the other state. Finally, you'll have an astral body, or even a subtler one. We can also move into a state of I am, where Atman and Paramatman are one. A drop becomes an ocean, a soul becomes God. That is, a soul dissolves in God. Death does not exist.